pot is on a medium flame, and I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon. Behave yourself oil of vegetable oil, a tablespoon and a half of vegetable oil. You know, if you're a fan of olive oil, too pricey for me at the moment. Coconut oil, whatever oil you want to use, totally, avocado oil is totally up to you. As that comes up to temperature, I have here half of a medium onion, and I have 6 cloves of garlic just smashed. To that, I want to add some fresh ground black pepper. And this recipe that you're seeing here, I'm creating it into an actual dish because when I made it for stuffing that grilled snapper that I shared with you all not too long ago, the stuffing was just incredible. So we're gonna follow in that sort of footsteps of that. To that, I have some fresh thyme from the garden, but what I want is the sort of baby leaves. And I'm just gonna grab, I don't want the tough stems in there because that will be a choking hazard later on. So just the baby sort of leaves and all the baby stems and all of the leaves in there. So fresh thyme. Now here's something you don't normally see me use too often, and this is a garlic herb powder sort of seasoning that I have. You know, from time to time I do use them, not too often. I'm just gonna toss that in there. I'm gonna turn my heat down to low because I don't want to burn this, but you're already seeing all that flavor that's going in there. Gonna hit that to mix. And the reason for turning the heat down is because I don't want the garlic and the onion to burn. I'm not sure if I already said that. Now, I like using fresh herbs, and that's why you saw me going, you know, I'm lucky because I have it available in my garden, that fresh thyme. If all you have is dry thyme, I am not a fan of dry thyme, but if you wanted to use dry thyme, you can do that. What I also have is 2 of these seasoning peppers. We call it pimento peppers in Trinidad and Tobago, but in some of the other islands throughout the Caribbean, they're called seasoning peppers. And you know, it's been sitting, 2 of them cut up into sort of rings. It's been sitting in the kitchen here for about 25 minutes or so. Again, I grow these in my garden every year, but the entire kitchen smells as if you've just cut open 4 of the hottest peppers in the world. The odd time it will be hot, but for the majority of time it will not, because it's more about getting the sort of essential oils and flavor of a Scotch bonnet pepper and not the raw heat. So there is no heat in that whatsoever. Guaranteed. I've already tried it. If you can source it, by all means, you know, go to your West Indian grocery store. Some of the Asian markets tend to have it now because they import everything and they know their customers, you know, we shop there as well too. So those pimento peppers are really packed with nice flavor without the heat. Now, as far as heat goes, I will add a couple peppers in there, but I won't break them. And those are going to be, I'll show you in a second. All I'm going to do is sweat this down for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll continue. Kitchen is already smelling incredible. That seasoning pepper there, boy. I'm telling you, if you can source it, by all means. If you wanted to put your favorite herb, you can put in here. So anything you want, any sort of flavors you like, obviously rock that. In goes diced pumpkin. Full recipe, printable, will be available at caribbeanpot.com within the next little while. So don't fret too much if you don't understand the amounts and stuff like that. It will all be there. Just going to give that another couple minutes just for the pumpkin to take on some of the flavor that we have on the bottom there. And it's going to need some time to tenderize as well. It's been a couple minutes. What I went ahead and did, I chopped up about 12 of these, well, I call it okra, but by all, everybody else will be calling it okra. And these are just the finger okras. I gave them a good wash first. The stems went into the rubbish, and I cut it up into about 1 centimeter or so pieces. That's all going to go in there. And vegans, vegetarians, your Rasta, I tell, you're going to love this one. And I mean, they say don't slide because all they hear Uncle Chris used the word vegan, or they're going to wrongly associate it with not tasting good. I'm telling you, you see this here? It's pure niceness. Pure niceness. Yeah? Don't cover the pot though, huh? Don't cover it at this point. I'm going to give that another 2-3 minutes. And then what we're going to go in with is Jamaican callaloo, or what we call chorai bhaji in Trinidad and Tobago. I still have some in the garden left back there. So what I did was mostly leaves, and I gave it a good wash and I chopped it up. If you head over to my food FAQ channel, you will see I have a video on there showing you how to prepare that to get it ready nice and clean and ting. Of course, we're gonna need some salt. I am using sea salt. You can use your favorite salt in the amount that you like, but again, I will give you the starting point. So you need about at least half a teaspoon of salt to start with. Later on, you'll be able to adjust that to your own liking. Now, I won't use coconut milk in here, but coconut milk will make a great addition to this. Totally up to you. I will use some water just to develop some steam to help that pumpkin cook down. And this may be one of those dishes that's not incredibly beautiful, but I'm telling you, as a side dish, rice, roti, ground provision, dumpling, whatever it is, I'm just trying to maximize the square footage of the bottom of that pot because I want everything cooking nice and evenly. Yo, it's a wicked dish. Don't sleep on it. And like I said, this came about as part of the stuffing I used for roasting that snapper we did. I think it was on the barbecue we did it, but you can also do it in the oven. But besides that, we're making its own dish out of the same sort of stuffing that we used. It's now time to add that Jamaican callaloo, and I like adding the Jamaican callaloo now because that's going to help to cook down. It's going to create some moisture and steam and everything else. So what I'll do is I'll put the lid on there and let that sort of steam saute for about 5 minutes, and at that point we will check on it. Now here's where I'm going to go in, and I told you all I have some heat I want to bring to the game. So I have 1 bird's eye pepper, and I'm going to use 4 of these tiny little fire bombs called wiri wiri peppers. We call them coffee pepper in Trinidad and Tobago because they take on the shape and resemblance of coffee beans. I'm just gonna, and they're whole. I don't want to break them, and I don't want to remove the stem because if I remove the stem, it's going to create an opening, and that is where that live heat is going to be. We're trying our best not to make this dish spicy. We want everybody to eat it. However, for the people who like spicy, who likes hot, who loves that Caribbean sunshine, whilst they're eating, they can pop this, boom, on their plate and enjoy the vibrance of that. I'm telling you, Uncle Chris going right there. It's been about 10 minutes, and I did stir it a few times, and you can see it's starting to break down, and it's almost where I want it to be. Now, I know some of you are sitting at home there, and you're thinking, well, Chris, what if we can't source Jamaican callaloo or chorai bhaji? Again, some people call it Jamaican callaloo, chorai bhaji, or spinach. With you in mind, what I have here is just everyday baby spinach that's been washed and chopped up, and I'm adding it now because it cooks really fast. So if you don't have the Jamaican callaloo, what you would do is cook the okra along with the the pumpkin and all those things for about 10 minutes or so with the lid on, and then you would add the spinach to it because the spinach cooks really quickly. What I'm going to do is put the lid back on and let that cook for another couple of minutes, and then we'll give it a stir, and then at that point we'll decide whether or not it's all ready to taste, adjust, and enjoy. As I give this a stir, what I forgot to mention is that I added 2 tablespoons of water when I added the Jamaican callaloo. At that point, if you wanted to add some coconut milk, you will go in with about ½ cup of coconut milk in there. Totally up to you, and it's going to bring a nice sweetness to the game with that coconut milk. And again, vegans, vegetarians, I tell everybody enjoying this. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? It's been 3.5 minutes since I added the spinach, and one of the things I hate doing is overcooking spinach. So what I'm going to do is kind of make room, let any liquid go in the center there, let that burn off. So within, no lid on, take the lid off, yeah? Within the next minute or two, I'm going to shut the stove off. The residual heat is going to continue cooking this and dry up any sort of liquid in there. At this point, taste it, adjust the salt to your liking. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we have those little fire bombs in there, the wee wee peppers. I didn't break them, you can see. Still nice and whole. So, a nice little stew. Okra, pumpkin, Jamaican callaloo, spinach, onion, garlic. If you want to put carrots, you want to put zucchini, you want any vegetable you want, you can pretty much put in here. If you wanted to finish off with some cherry or grape tomato, slice them up in half, toss them in there, shut off the stove. ChrisierCaribbeanPot.com, a lovely recipe based on that stuffing that we did for the fish. I might have some sada roti and some kuchala, and this, yo man, I might go and just tuck in and enjoy myself and smash one of them pepper there. I'm telling you, boy. Anyhow, I hope you all get an opportunity to give this one a try. It's real nice. Alright? Let me see if I can go in now. Let me see. I'm not using my good lens anymore, but you can see what happened here. I don't have to explain anymore.